Tricky night for Manchester as City lose and United succumb to a late draw.
English rugby rocked by leaked World Cup report.
And Federer cruises past Nadal in London.
Good afternoon and welcome to UCA Sports News. To Europe first, after a dismal night for the Manchester clubs, both United and City's hopes of Champions League qualification hang in the balance. Premier League table toppers City sunk to a disappointing 2-1 defeat away at Napoli. Uruguayan hotshot Edison Cavani flicked in at the near post to give Napoli the lead. Some calamitous defending allowed Mario Balotelli to tap home and level the scores after 33 minutes.
For Mario Balotelli, the Italian back in Italy.
But just after half-time, it was that man Cavani who tucked away his seconds to seal the Italian victory.
Back in Manchester, United played out a fascinating 2-2 draw with Benfica at Old Trafford. Phil Jones got his team off to the worst possible start, deflecting a Nico Gaitan cross into his own net.
Phil Jones with a disastrous start.
On a rare start, Dimitar Berbatov levelled the scores with a clinical header. Into the second half and Darren Fletcher put the Reds ahead, eventually managing to bundle the ball home. But Argentine journeyman Pablo Aimar grabbed the crucial equaliser to deny Sir Alex Ferguson's men all 3 points. The results leave both teams with work to do going into the final Champions League matchday. Jamie Rowe looks into the qualification situation.
On home soil this year, it's been all about Manchester. City and United have left all others trailing in their wake. But Europe has proved to be a more challenging prospect for both the red and blue sides of the city. United's 2-2 draw to Benfica and City's 2-1 away defeat to Napoli open up the very real prospect that the Premier League leaders could be playing in the Europa League for the remainder of this season. Going into the final game, Manchester United need to secure at least 1 point against FC Basel to secure their progression. Boss Sir Alex Ferguson is confident they will do so.
You know, we played some perfect football with all the chances. David is only the one saving the match, and we're a bit unlucky tonight.
Ferguson's managerial counterpart Roberto Mancini is less optimistic. His team now lies third in the group behind Napoli and Bayern Munich, and the odds are stacked against the Italian.
We have another game. I think that we should believe, because it's my opinion that Villarreal can beat Napoli, or they can do a draw. I don't think that they finish with 0 points, and we have one more chance. It's clear now, depend on the other team.
Staying with the Champions League, and in action tonight are 2 London clubs, Arsenal and Chelsea. Arsenal played German side Borussia Dortmund at the Emirates, knowing a win will seal their place in the last 16. They welcome back in-form striker Robin van Persie, who was missing the last time these two sides met. Dortmund go into the game off the back of a 1-0 win against Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga. And Arsenal manager Arsene Wenger knows the importance of tonight's game.
Every player and every member of the staff is conscious that it's a big night for us, and that's a very important one.
Chelsea travel to Germany to play Bayer Leverkusen. The Blues may be struggling domestically after Sunday's 2-1 defeat to Liverpool, their third loss in 4 league games, but they're faring better in Europe, sitting top of Group E with 8 points. The game also marks a return for former Chelsea captain Michael Ballack, who makes his 100th European appearance. But all eyes will be on under-pressure boss Andre Villas-Boas, who admits the side has been misfiring of late.
We are in a negative run of results, and that's what we have to face every day, and when we are up to the next game, and the next game is against Leverkusen.
Rugby union news now, and the tough times at Twickenham show no signs of ending, as confidential reports filed by players after the World Cup have been leaked in the Times. It's the latest setback for the RFU in what has become an embarrassing period for the game. Our rugby correspondent Shehan Jayasinghe tells us more.
Turmoil at Twickenham. After a series of infighting behind the scenes at the RFU, a failed World Cup campaign with countless controversies off the pitch, and the recent departure of Martin Johnson as England manager, you could be forgiven for thinking things couldn't get much worse. Now comes news that confidential reports on the team's performance at last month's World Cup have been leaked. The damning article in today's Times reveals countless revelations about all facets of the England setup. The coaches come in for heavy criticism for their lack of vision and leadership, and what also becomes apparent is a distinct rift within the camp at the World Cup, where senior players set a poor example for their younger counterparts. The views expressed in the report were made by players after their exit from the World Cup and make astounding reading. On England's tactics, the following was said.
To go into World Cup games not having a game plan, any structure or clear idea of what we were going to do in attack was astonishing.
England's drinking came in for heavy criticism during the World Cup, and one anonymous player has been quoted as saying,
"It was the senior players pushing the boundaries, treating it like an old-school tour. If it's the senior players leading the drinking games or drinking until they can't remember anything, what example are the younger players set?"
The RFU's mantra is teamwork, respect, enjoyment, discipline and sportsmanship, but it would appear these principles were not adhered to by the England team. The media pressure is growing at Twickenham, with the focus now shifting to Rob Andrew and his ability to continue on as elite rugby director. 3 head coaches have seen the exit door since Andrew has been in charge, and with the fresh revelations providing an insight into the disjointed nature of English rugby, it would now appear the sun is setting on Rob Andrew's tenure at Twickenham. Shehan Jayasinghe, UCA Sports News.
With the latest developments at Twickenham, it's easy to forget that the search for a new England manager continues. And earlier today, New Zealand's World Cup winning coach Graham Henry joined the likes of Shaun Edwards and Conor O'Shea in ruling himself out of contention for the job.
I've got no desire to coach a team. I've said that. I've done 140 tests and that's probably enough. But you never say never. But my desire is to live in New Zealand predominantly.
With Henry out of the running, 2 leading candidates have emerged for the vacant England position. South African Nick Mallett is highly rated and has international management experience with South Africa and Italy on his CV. Whilst the other contender, Jim Mallender, has no international experience, the Englishman guided Northampton Saints to the Heineken Cup final last season, as well as a host of silverware success over the last few years. The RFU search for a new manager is set to continue into the new year, with it looking likely that a caretaker boss will be put in charge for the Six Nations.
Breaking news just reaching us here at UCA Sports News, and it's been confirmed that Andy Murray has pulled out of the ATP World Tour Finals due to a groin injury. The British #1 suffered the injury during his defeat to David Ferrer on Monday. We will bring you more on this story as it develops.
Back on the court, and day 3 of the World Tour Finals at the O2 Arena saw Roger Federer take on world number 2 Rafael Nadal, with the Swiss easing to a 6-3, 6-0 straight sets victory. Federer wrapped up the first set in just 32 minutes.
Vintage Federer.
He made even shorter work of the second set, finishing the job off in clinical fashion.
Sublime performance from the Swiss maestro.
6-3, 6-love.
Nadal humbled at the hands of his great rival.
In the day's other game, Joe Wilfred Tsonga coasted to a 7-6, 6-1 win over American Mardy Fish.
There it is, Tsonga does come up with the victory.
Tsonga and Federer are now in prime position to advance in the competition at the top of Group B.
Horse racing now, and Saturday's big race, the Betfair Chase, was won by a true jump racing legend.
Cato Star has long been a favourite among the racing public, thanks in part to his 2 victories in the Cheltenham Gold Cup and 4 wins in the King George. But after a disappointing end to last season, many had suggested retirement for the Paul Nicholls-trained prolific winner. However, in Saturday's Betfair Chase, Cato and his long-time rider Ruby Walsh had other plans. Always prominent in the 6-runner field, the 11-year-old gelding jumped with measured perfection throughout, putting current Gold Cup holder Long Run under pressure early. Turning for home, Cato still looked to be full of running, and when Walsh pushed the button, there was only to be one winner.
Hard work down to the last then for Corto Star. He still just holds sway. Long run, raising another effort on the near side. Corto Star, a big leap at the last. He came up 2 lengths clear. Long run is chasing him all the way up the run-in, but he's chasing in vain. And the old king still has one hand on the crown. Corto Star, the horse of a lifetime, driven clear. It's 4-bit fair chases for Corto Star under a magnificent ride from Ruby Walsh.
The final race of the Formula 1 season takes place in Brazil this weekend. But with the Drivers' and Manufacturers' Championship sewn up, there is only the minor honours to race for. We take a look back at a season that has been full of drama throughout.
Formula 1 always gets the pulses racing, and 2011 was set to be no different. The season kicked off in Australia with Sebastian Vettel starting in pole position, setting the tone for the rest of the season. Britain's Lewis Hamilton was involved in some aggressive racing with Fernando Alonso, but managed a second place finish despite this. However, it was Vettel who finished the strongest, taking the win and continuing where he'd left off the previous year. Lewis Hamilton's crash with Alonso in Australia was a sign of things to come, but it was Alonso's teammate Felipe Massa who proved to be Hamilton's nemesis. The pair first came to blows at the British Grand Prix, where a daring overtake from Hamilton resulted in a last lap collision. The pair were at odds again in Singapore, with the British driver losing a front wing following a coming together. The two drivers were involved in a total of 6 incidents throughout the season, culminating in the Indian Grand Prix. This time Massa was at fault, shutting the door on Hamilton and getting a drive-through penalty. If there was a storm brewing between Massa and Hamilton, it was nothing compared to the Canadian Grand Prix. Shortly after the race had started, a torrential downpour hit the track, causing the stewards to stop racing for 2 hours. When the conditions eased, turmoil ensued, but it was Britain's Jenson Button who fared the best, making the most of a mistake by championship leader Vettel on the final lap to take the win. Despite his mistake in Canada, the season belonged to Vettel. The German driver dominated the season, breaking the record for the most poles in a year and landing his second Drivers' Championship. He headed to the Japanese Grand Prix needing only a point to secure overall victory, and his third behind Button sealed the title.
Yes, 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 yes! And yes again!
He then went to Korea, where a comfortable win allowed Red Bull to retain the Constructors' Championship with 2 races remaining.
Now to our favourite part of the week, and the section where we invite you, the viewers, at home to join in. It's of course, the plays of the week.
As ever, we'll show you the 3 best plays from the last 7 days. So here's this week's contenders.
That's a shot. That is spectacular.
I've seen Bob hit that shot before, and it's an intentional lob. He knows that Melton and Petchner were climbing over the net. It's a good get from Mike, good soft hands.
Love hitting.
And this is the shot of the tournament.
Wonderful control, great skills, fantastic goal! Individual brilliance from Prince Boateng.
I think that's a goalkeeper mistake there.
That was fantastic improvisation.
Wonderful improvisation, but where's the keeper gone? He's already
to the 6th, and here is Shehan.
53 yards here for Hunter. A little chuck and run, and how about it? Oh, yes, sir. There's an eagle 2 for the American team.
An empty net.
Missed! He didn't score!
He didn't score. He put it over the net. I'm telling you right now, he put it right up in the roof. Greg Smith looking for his 8th.
And let's hope he kicks it. He'll never live it down if he fluffs this.
Oh! What a way to finish. He should have left it with Thurston.
Get out, Steve-O.
Well, there were some flair skills on display there, Mike, but which was your favourite?
Well, I have to say, Hunter Mahan chipping in from the fairway. It reminded me of my own golf game.
Touché. I personally liked Darren Lockyer's missed conversion. It certainly made me laugh. Thankfully for him, though, the match was already won. And still to come this hour, Rugby League legend Martin O'Fire joins us in the studio to discuss the Four Nations.